What's up, my loves? We are going to do a very quick tutorial today on how to use, it could be a template that you designed or a template that you may have gotten from me. We're going to change a single player to a multiplayer layout where it still applies the filters that we want to give it like this high definition and oil painted effect to. So in order to do that, let's see, we're starting at 349. We're going to time ourselves, say 350. We're going to take our smart object layer. We just double clicked on that smart object. Take the existing player, make them invisible. See that eyeball right there? Bam, he's gone. And then we'll go to our files and bring in our, let's see, today is a Greenbay kind of day. So let's see, we got 12, 13, 17, 31, 69, and 97. Let's see how many players that's going to be. And I'm doing this on the fly. I did not plan this out, so we're going to see how fun this is. And these are smart objects. If you pull your objects in from your folder directly onto your art file, they will forever be smart objects, so they won't lose any resolution but because you decrease them or anything of that nature. They're going to stay their original file. So I'm going to do Control-T to try to work out some kind of placement. I have an idea. I'm using a 13 by 19 sheet. I'm going to have the logo going behind them, and I just want to make sure anybody that's in there with any features that are cut off, like legs, arms, that sort of thing, I make sure I hide one behind another. This is actually a good full body pose, so maybe I have that one to the right, no, to the left, because he's got the ball in his hand on that side. I'll bring that one towards the front. This one has a lot of emotion in it. Let's see, more of your standard pose there, but I still want to make sure he's seen. What else we got? See a little movement and some fun there. Let's put him in front of the 69 that's squatting. Control-T. We're going to use that to resize. And who's this back here hiding? He's running forward, so let's place him in the front. Now, I would leave 12 full body if I was just doing a single player shirt, and I'm going to show you the difference there and show you how you can literally go from one design to many in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to duplicate number 12 right now, and that's because we're going to do him as a single player for this design, and then also as this multiplayer. And you'll see how you don't need a template to do every single thing that you want to do. You're using them pretty much as guides and suggestions for layout, colors, and effects. I'm trying to get their helmets about the same size. And 17's back there. You do not have to do all the players at the same size. It's just one of my pet peeves. Unless I'm doing something with perspective where the person in the front is supposed to look a lot bigger, or I'm doing emphasis where I'm making one player like a focal player. But because, and I'm just going to be honest, because I don't know who would be a focal player. And plus, I think in football, you want everybody to play as a team, so there shouldn't be a focal player. I don't know, I guess that's how it should be in theory. I'm just doing Control-T and bringing them down. Now these are a lot of pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures that I'm changing out right now. And then his legs cut off there, so I'm using that to cut off that cut off leg. And then I'm thinking 13 will go down here, make him a little bit bigger. And then we'll put the quarterback in the center where you can see the ball. It's kind of coming in front. Perfect. All right, so that was quick. What was it, 4 minutes? You know how I feel about these cutoffs. We got to do something about them. We got to make it work. So let's do a layer mask on anything that's looking cut out, at the, with that blunt cut. So we're going to add a layer mask, get my paintbrush. We're going to paint with black because black conceals and white reveals. Let me right click and see how big my brush is right now. For some reason, I'm just not previewing my brush size. I have a little bit of a problem with that, but it's not going to stop me from going right now. And I like his hands, so I want his hands in there. Next one, let's see, 13 needs to be faded off as well, so we're going to create a layer mask and paint with our black onto the layer mask, not the actual image. And the good thing is, if you bring these into Smart Objects, if I even tried to paint, I know you've probably done this before, didn't realize you were painting on your layer. If I even tried to paint on a Smart Object, it's not going to allow me to do it. And that should be an indication that you're on the wrong type of function or the wrong layer. So I'm on my layer mask and it's letting me fade away just fine. So number 12, I'm going to go ahead and create a layer mask for him because nobody else really has full legs. We're going to go ahead and clean those off. And they are still there. We did not delete any pixels. And then let's say I cut too much off and want to add back some. All I do is switch my foreground color to white and I can kind of add them back in a little bit. Oh, I see what's happening. His stance is so wide that you wouldn't see his legs down this far anyway. So it kind of made it look like he was just floating. But let's see what I can do. There we go. I want to get a little bit of his legs in there so it didn't just look like he was floating off a floating bust. All right, and then I'm gonna back up. I want to bring everything down so that I can kind of rearrange my back player. So let's bring everything down. $69 can be brought up so he can get a little more attention. There he goes. And then got Mr. Amos here. We're going to fade him off a little bit. Go ahead and create a new layer mask. And I'm painting with white. That's why it's not concealing anything, because white reveals. So now when I go paint in. And you know what? I'm thinking I don't like this leg sticking out. Even though it's a cool kind of pose there, I feel like the leg sticking out is not giving me balance on my art. So I can actually bring him out a little bit more. Now, make him a tad bit bigger, just because I'm looking at the size of the football, looking at the size of the helmet, and I try to, like I said, I try to use those type of cues to gauge if my images are about the same size. I'm not trying to get perfect. Alright, so that would be the full collection, and now I'm seeing more of 17, and guess what? I can't do that little blunt line right there. Let's fade them off. Let's do it. It is done. It is doneth. Alright, 17. Let's bring him up a little bit. And let's say I wasn't going to nitpick about this one and I was just going to let it ride. I would exit and hit yes to save. Now, if you did all that and you're scared to just hit X, just do Control S or File Save. Last thing you want to do is to lose work that you already did. So it is saving. It's updating my Smart Objects on my original file. And it immediately went from Ricketts Raiders player to now I have my Packers. And what you can see how it has the high definition color. It has like the oil painting on the skin. Those are effects that I have applied in this template here. And a previous video that just has a single player with the same effect shows you how to create that from scratch. You do not have to buy the templates. I'm letting you guys know these are things you can do on your own. I provide the templates as tools to kind of get your confidence up. So while I'm talking and using up my time, because I said it's going to be a quick video, the next thing we'll do is go ahead and change out our colors. It's already got yellow in it, so that's cool. Let's go to our paint splash background colors. So we can toggle the view on and off just to see what we're working with. And of course that color is blue. We don't have any blue in our design. So we're just going to double click the color overlay and wait patiently for my computer. Let's go ahead and select some green. Now the greens in the image is very, very dark. So if we're not happy with what we get, we can always adjust the color. So that green is almost black. Yeah. Let's grab that green from that highlighted area. There we go. And then I might even make it a little bit darker because it is a pretty dark green. That I like. I could say okay. We still got a little white in there. And man, when I tell you this is simple, easy to do, you can do this. I promise you got this. All right, so already we got some artwork, baby. We're ready to hang this up. Let's do logo. Let me go ahead. I said, well, you want to have a little composition. So maybe you don't want to do logo in the background. This will be Packers logo. I always try to find my SVGs because they take up very little file space. SVGs are probably the smallest that you're ever going to get for file size. And I think we need to change that gold or that yellow up a little bit because some of the images have it more of that golden color, and then others have like more of a pure yellow. And then we can move around our top layer because the top layer just has white, the top layer effects. And then I like to, when I'm done with something, just go ahead and close that group up so it's not taking up a bunch of space. Let's go to our front effects and I can just move it around so you see what it is. And then we can individually move around these different brush strokes. And like I said, go to that other video and see how we achieved all this. I teach you for the free ski, so please take advantage of it. If it's something that you really don't feel confident doing quite yet and you want to purchase the templates, I will put it in the link and you will be able to do this. You will be able to do everything that I'm doing right now, even without a template. And this is just some random little brushes that we had used on the previous template. So I think I'm all right with this for now. And as far as the yellow, now I'm going to go back into my smart object. I said I was just going to place these things and be done with it, but I suppose y'all caught me recorded lying. So let's go to my smart object, one of the smart objects. You can click on any of these smart objects. All of these are the same thing. They just have, it's the same instance, or it's the same image, it's just different instances of the same image. While I'm here, let me get on 17 and I'm going to do a layer, a new adjustment layer, hue and saturation. And I'm going to say, sir, we got to do something about this helmet color. It's not matching with everybody else. So let's go to the yellows. First thing I do is I crank it all the way down. Did that affect the layer that I wanted to affect? Yes, it did. So now I'm going to adjust. Do I want the saturation to be higher? I know definitely we're going to make this a little bit lighter. And that's probably all we really have to do. But let's say it's just a little too orange. You can make it go towards another hue. So I can make it go a little more towards yellow and a little less towards orange. And you can be as precise with this as you want, but I think we're good on that. And this time I'm going to Control S to save. You'll see it saving up at the top right corner of this window. Now what you don't want to do, I have a pretty powerful little laptop. And I have a more powerful PC that I rarely use. But you can get a little crazy with these files with all of these photos in them. So what I would do is go ahead and have your version that you're happy with, clean it up, create a PNG of it, and kind of start working your way to getting rid of some of the extraneous files and things you don't need. All right, so we have the Packers logo in here somewhere. And we're just going to grab it wherever it is. Grab it and bring it above. Let's see where we want to put it. Because sometimes what I like to do is bring it in front of the paint, but then apply a different type of, what is this called? Just forgot. Oh, blend mode. Lord, sometimes my mind goes too. All right, so I liked the blend mode. The multiply looks good to me. So I still see a little bit of the paint, still see the logo. And then I have like a nice little multiplied effect where everything's touch. So I'm good with that. And then let's say I want to put the word mark in here. I'm even going all out. So let's see. Packers word mark. SVG, see if that's what I want. And then also the thought process that goes into your design can make your layout a lot faster. So if you go ahead and figure out what elements you need, like I have my logo ready, I have my word mark ready, that sort of thing. And then this file also comes with a bonus because it comes with that's my boy, that's my bro, and technically these are editable. So you can say that's my team, you can say go Packers, you can say Packers Nation, whatever. You can basically use these to create your own kind of custom flair to the text so it doesn't look so flat. And then this also teaches you what these different elements do, what a bevel and emboss does, a stroke, a drop shadow, all that good stuff. So I want you to play with those and make your own versions of them. But for this, we're just going to straight up go ahead and use the word mark. And I'm thinking it's a little heavy, so let's do an outer glow, see how that works. And we can pick our color from the art space. Let's say I want to pick yellow. Now you have different ways that you can play with this effect. You can make the size larger, the spread greater. You can even do a color overlay, and let's say you wanted the letters to be yellow. I could do a color overlay, and then I could let my outer glow or drop shadow be a different color. I can do an outline, which is a stroke. Increase that stroke size, and right now it's on a gradient instead of a solid color. You can do either one. So let's say I want to make this like a dark green gradient. Let's go to my image, select my darkest of dark greens. Excuse me, which is almost black, pretty much is black. Let's choose a good green that you can tell is a dark Packers green. That one's good. And let's choose a lighter color, somewhere where there's a highlight. And you do not have to pick these colors from an image. You can literally make these colors up. And then what I'm going to do let's say I want to match this exact color on the other side of the lighter color. I can click on the stop. I can create a new stop, and bam, it just duplicated that color. Same thing with this last one. I'm going to delete it. We click on the first stop and duplicate that stop down here. I don't know why I wait to cough and wait until I make these videos to be coughing and stuff. I think y'all make me nervous. I don't know. All right, so let's say that's what we wanted. We want a little dynamic little glare look there. We can add another gradient opportunity there. So let's make that black a little less apparent. And let's grab this dark green again and place it here. Say okay. I think I'm okay with that. Now let's say we wanted to add another stroke. So let's do this secondary stroke. Let's make it a solid color. Let's make it white. That way it'll pop off this background. Bring the stroke up a little bit. I did not pre-plan this, so if it looks crazy and I go back, don't be mad at me. I'm going to add a little opacity to my shadow so I can see where it's going right now. Increase the distance and the size. And then I'm going to bring down opacity because I want it to kind of have a very subtle, kind of like a sticker look. So I just put in my bevel emboss and it makes it look all glossy or 3D. I'm kind of feeling that. I don't know if you are, but that's why you can create your own art, because you can do anything that you want to do. All right. Zoom out. Let's check out our masterpiece. Are we ready to go? So what time did we start this thing? Like 49-ish. So yeah, a little less than 20 minutes and we got a new multiplayer design. If we were just doing one player, and so let's say this is our one player here. So now I'm getting into my drawn out part of the video because I always got to show y'all some extra stuff. Let's go to our smart object. As a matter of fact, here's another idea. If you've gotten it to how you want it, it's in place, everything's working out, you can right click, you can duplicate this group with the subject in it. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and merge that layer. Taking this little time. Now what it's doing is remaking that all those smart objects over again, and that's why I like to merge it, because you really don't want too many high resolution images with all of this all of these filters and effects weighing down your file and your file size and the the RAM on your computer. So I still have my merged image there. I still have the smart object. I'm going to turn my merge layer off for a second because all I'm going to do is go into my main layer and let's see, what was that, number 12. So let's turn off. I'm going to take everything that's not the big number 12. I'm going to group it. I'll call it Packers. And then I've got number 12 by himself. Let's say I just want to showcase one player. Now this is one player. This is your kid on the team that you are crazy about, and you just want to highlight him as this primary player. So now our composition changes from a multiplayer to a single player. And I just want to show you how easy it was to go right back to a single player. And that is it. That's it. Alright, so I'm trying to see if I want to, let me teach you one more trick. Just one more trick for the road. There is a font, and I'm going to show you what it is in just a moment. I'm going to surprise you. Let's see, DGERS. I think this player's name is Rodgers. Guess what? There is a font called Mirror It. Google it. I should be able to put the link to it in the description. It's not my font, but I did find it, and I guess at some point it was free, and now it's a paid font. But this just allows you to go ahead and do that quick function of the repeat thank you bag style that's really popular right now. What I'm doing is I'm going to change my spacing because I really don't want the letters that spaced out because I want to make them longer and taller. So I'm going to go to my character settings. I'm going to change my spacing. Right now I have it at -50, so if I put it at 0, it's even more spaced out. Let's do -100. Well, if I can put -100, that would be nice. And maybe that's a little bit too close, but we'll see in just a moment. So I want to make this as big as I can. And I didn't plan this out either, so I really don't know what I'm doing right now. I just wanted to show y'all something new. Alrighties, to the back. And then I want to see, do I want to put this in the back or do I want to do some type of blend mode effect? This is what other programs are not really going to give you. Affinity will do a lot of blending as well, but I think it pretty much has the same functions as Photoshop. So those of you interested in learning Affinity, ooh, I like that. Okay, so that was overlay. Those of you interested in learning Affinity, I promised that I was going to do a video. I have downloaded it. I paid my little $50. Thank you guys for getting me to spend some more money on design. But I would like to basically do a tutorial in that program just to see if everything is similar or if there are some things that you may have to change. I even opened up one of my templates in there. Two of my templates in there. The only thing that I saw that it wasn't doing properly was like, for instance, how I have the Packers right here. It would have my gradient effect and some other effects and drop shadows, but it would not do my stroke, my outlines. So that's a very small price to pay. And then the other thing was I have to figure out how smart objects translate in that program. But I'm telling y'all, once I figure it out, I'm gonna be on go. I might even be converted to Affinity. I don't know. Right now, Photoshop is what, $10 a month for the single program. So we're gonna see. We shall see. Right now, I'm seeing if I can do any effect. Yeah, I don't like it. The drop shadow. I might like it if I made it very, very light. No, I still don't like it. I was trying to figure out some way that even on the white I saw the Rodgers. But heck, I don't know. I like it inconspicuous, but I'm going to show you two different options. Okay, so we got it in the front, inconspicuous. This is eating up some extra time that you didn't plan on spending with me today, but I bet you ain't leaving. I bet you're still here. All right, so let's pull it behind the player. So what this did was it added another copy, and as you can see, it intensifies that effect. So that's cool too. You could even go with that. So let's say on this back layer, I don't want to do an overlay. Let's say I put it normal. And of course, normal is where it's all black. If I take my opacity and bring it down to almost nothing, I still see a little bit of the words in the background. I think I'm okay with that. Then I can do a color overlay. And if I wanted it to have more of that the green color to it rather than starting off as black. Oh, actually I like the yellow. Look at that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. But I will show you another option. Why not? Let's try it with the green. And that's what I say. This stuff you could do exactly or plan to do exactly what I do. And then by the time you finish making your variations, you will have an entirely different piece. And that's good. That's actually great. One thing about art is it's very subjective. The thing that you're interpreting might be a totally different presentation by the time you're done with it. So let's say I wanted my front Rodgers and my back Rodgers to stay together. If I stretch one right now, it's not going to stretch the other. If I move one, it's not going to move the other. So what I want to do is select, see I have Rodgers there, have that selected, and then I'm going to shift and select somewhere else. And I'm going to select Rodgers, copy. Now, when I shift and selected those two things, I didn't have to go over here to my left-hand side. I mean, I don't know my left and my right. To my right-hand side and sift through and find that. It selected both of them because I was holding shift and I was able to select it from the drop-down. Now, I can link these with my little link layers chain down here. And if I move one, it's going to move them both. And then from here, you can figure out if you wanted to leave it where it was, if you want to space it out. whatever your heart desires. Now, because I feel like I want to see a little more of his name, I might go into my green paint layer, paint splash. This will be the top color. And remember, inside of these layers, I have different little paint splashes. And I can add to or change it, so I can add as many paint splashes as I want. I'm thinking that was a little too dark. I'm looking for something that kind of comes off to the side a little bit, offers me a little bit of thickness. I'm going to take this one, number 5, and I'm going to Control T, and I'm going to transform it. I'm going to turn it. The only thing I don't like, see how I see drips in this one? I can't stand when I see something that just doesn't make sense. Not that it's a bad idea, but if I see something dripping top to bottom and then I also see it dripping side to side, it throws me off, so I don't like that. Here's one that's more of a swirl. And let's say for this particular one, if I want to bring my opacity down, I can bring the opacity down just on that layer so that I still reveal Rodgers a little bit, but it's not so overpowering. And I'm not liking that swirl either. It doesn't go with my flow. What are you doing? What do you look like? There we go. Okay, that one I'm okay with. And let's bring the opacity down because I don't want the inside of my image to look so heavy. It's already looking a little heavy. But anyways, I just held down Alt to drag another version of it over here. Just want to make sure I can see my Rodgers. But there we go. Another done deal. Let's see, what was that? 30 minutes showing you how to go from single player to multiplayer, how to change the colors of the paint splashes and the background effects that you're doing, and also a cool new font that you probably will be in love with. Let me know how that works out for you, because I like to see how people interpret something or take something and make it their own. So definitely make it your own. I am honored every single time y'all tag me in anything that you do, because it makes me like a proud Photoshop mama bear. So definitely do that. Tag me. Feel free to. I was going to, one more thing. Make this a little less transparent so that y'all get the idea about this whole font deal. Because I got a feeling that that's going to be a big lifesaver for some of you. All right. That is it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video. Please visit Innate Lab. Oh, let me put my little watermark on here, because Lord knows we got some folks out there that just be taking my little stuff. I'm flattered, but don't be taking my little stuff. All right, and then I'm even going to take the YouTube off, because some of these people be tripping about me advertising my YouTube. So let's just take it off. Y'all will find me. Hopefully people will understand how to Google me. All right, so Innate Lab. I'm going to bring it to the front up here so it's the first thing you see. That's it, guys. Until next time, I appreciate you. I love you. Stay dope.